This perp back with another video. Just got done watching the penultimate episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark? Curse of the Shadows, episode 5. We got one more episode after this. And man, this was pretty intense. But if you haven't checked out my recent video of how are Mr. Top Hat's Cane and Book of Shadows connected and where they could possibly go for a third season, definitely check that out in the description below. With all that out of the way, let's get right into this review. I don't want to waste no more time. So this episode was really interesting. I'm really liking how they're pacing out these episodes. It's really keeping me intrigued and it's keeping me, invested in what I'm watching. Also, I learned that this education system has failed many generations, because I'll get into that later. But the episode kicks off with the gang running away from the Shadow Man, and they do a really good job of kind of tricking you, because Jay is gone. He made that ultimate sacrifice. Everybody is getting picked off one by one. Seth is getting picked off by the Shadow Man. Everybody's getting picked off by the Shadow Man, and it's just Luke all by himself. And he wakes up and ends up being a dream, but he realizes that Jay is still gone. So they waste no time. They have to figure out a plan on how to get rid of the Shadow Man, how to destroy the Shadow Man and break this curse. So what they end up having to do is going to Sardo, and it seems like Sardo doesn't want any real business with this at all. This is dark magic, and Luke kind of calls him out on this. But you realize that Sardo does care, because he mentions, like, I've seen so many kids disappear into those woods. I've told many kids to stay out of those woods at nighttime. So we also get a little bit more information on the Shadow Man and how he gets his powers from, snatching up children, taking their life force. That's what's making him stronger. And every day that goes by, he's just getting stronger and stronger. So they have to come together and figure out a way to get rid of him as soon as possible before it's too late. So this is why they start to gather different things from Sardo's magic shop. They need things that are of light. They need to create a refraction. I liked how they explained the difference between a reflection and a refraction. Like, that is basic physics and whatnot. And that's why I said in the beginning of this video that the school system has failed a lot of generations. But that aside, I want to mention something. This goes back to the video I made. Are the Book of Shadows and Mr. Top Hat's Cane connected, in the sense where we see a Top Hat a couple times in this? They definitely make references to the carnival or a carnival. So that's interesting. Just putting that out there. You should definitely go check out that video. So what kind of puts a stop in their plans is, this is why I kind of like Shadow Man Connor. Shadow Man Connor comes in and he pretty much snitches to the parents. And that's what kind of halts their plans in creating this trap, which doesn't really last that long. I would say that was probably my least liked moment out of this whole episode, how all the parents kind of go at the kids and say, oh, you're grounded. You're not allowed to go out. Like, Gabby isn't allowed to drive anymore, but yet she steals her mom's car again. And all she had to really do is call the cops, which is kind of weird. But it's television, so you gotta kind of give it a pass. I do like the way that Hannah and Seth kind of tricked their mom with the same kind of trick that Hannah used on Seth earlier on in the series. That was funny. So now they're all able to reconnect and get ready for the Shadow Man to come. So they start to prepare and set up their trap. But before they can do that, Sardo gets a visit from the Shadow Man himself. Well, Shadow Man Connor. And pretty much threatens him, like, let me know what their plan is or you die. I'm gonna take your life. And this was pretty dark, man. I wasn't expecting that, but then again, watching the series, I was like, yo, they really go there with this series. They don't really hold back that much. So Sardo pretty much kind of caves. But before we get into where that leads off to, here's one of the dopest moments of the episode where Seth finally gets knighted into the Midnight Society. This was a really dope moment because this is all he ever wanted out of this whole entire series, and they finally let him in. I guess because of the situation, but you know, that was really cool. So now, before they get to pop the champagne and really celebrate and stuff like that, the Shadow Man pops up. Shadow Man Connor pops up with Sardo, kind of as, you know, if you don't come out, I'm going to kill him right on the spot. I'm going to take his life. So they're all kind of sitting back, waiting for the right moments. And the Shadow Man knows what's coming at this point, kind of, and falls for the trap. There's a net that falls on Shadow Man Connor because it's a physical body, so it's able to kind of slow him down a little bit. And this is where they kind of use their trap, and you have all these different light sources, and they use this amulet that's like 3 crystals put together that really puts a damage on this Shadow Man, but it's not enough, because in this moment they realize, you know, the Shadow Man is really OP at this point, where he's able to knock out all these lights. And you get another dope moment of all these different characters that was kind of foreshadowed in Luke's dream, where they're making these sacrifices for Luke so they can, you know, break this curse. The first one to really go is Hannah. You know, that was kind of unexpected. Then it was Gabby. Then it was Seth, because it's so crazy to see how far Seth has come as a character, and just him now being a part of this group has kind of boosted his morale. Also, before Seth gets taken by the Shadow Man, him and Luke have this kind of back and forth about magic, and, you know, Luke is kind of losing hope in himself at this point because all his friends are gone around him. And the episode ends with just it being Luke and the Shadow Man, and he's able to fight him off by himself. In the nick of time, Connor's dad pops back up, and he leaves the, I guess you could call, his house or something like that. And he runs off to Sardo's place to do the seance, and he's starting to listen back on what people have been saying to him. Now he has the confidence and uses the Ouija board to kind of reach out to Sardo for help, which I think that confirms that Sardo is probably dead, which is, like I said, really dark for a Nickelodeon show to do. So that's pretty much how the episode ends, with, you know, him calling out to Sardo. Now we just gotta have to get to the nitty gritty, and I think it's all up to Luke to bring everybody back. But this was a really solid episode. Let me know how you guys felt about this episode in the comments below. Till next time, I'm out.